We ready, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. We'll go ahead and call this regular meeting of the East Peoria City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Mingus.
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
Mayor Call.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and every day that you give us. We turn to you in the present moment, recognizing the complexity and weight of the world we inhabit. We acknowledge the shadows that fall across our path, the divisions that separate us, the stewardship of our fragile earth, and the anxieties that touch every heart. Grant us the courage not to look away from these challenges, but to face them with clear eyes and compassionate spirits. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on September 16, 2025 be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Mingus.
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Motion carried. All right. Under communications, I do have one proclamation this evening. Whereas the City of East Peoria is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting the city. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risks. And whereas most of the electronics used in-home daily, including smartphones, tablets, and laptops, power tools, and toys, are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which if misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat, start a fire, or explode. And whereas there has been an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safe use of lithium-ion batteries. And whereas East Peoria's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries for Your Home, serves to remind us and the citizens of East Peoria the critical importance of how to safely use lithium-ion batteries. And therefore, I, Mayor John P. Call, do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week in East Peoria. And I urge all residents to make sure to use lithium-ion batteries safely by not overcharging, using the charger equipment that goes with the device, along with other safety protocol, and to support the efforts of the East Peoria Fire Department. So with that, gentlemen, if you don't mind stepping up to the podium, we'll present this to you. You want to do it, Commissioner? As always, we appreciate what you guys do 24/7, keeping us safe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it, and feel free to make any comments you wish.
Yeah, we just want to thank you guys for recognizing this
Yeah.
Fire Prevention Week and understanding these issues we deal with in the community and trying to get ahead of that. So thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate all you do, and I know Fire Prevention Week, you do a lot with the schools as well. So thank you guys for what you do every day.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it. All right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Very good. Public comment. Anyone wish to address the council on an agenda item, please step forward. And I'm seeing no one. Commissioner Hill, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 7. Item number 1, adopts a resolution number 2526-061, resolution to approve payment of the scheduled bills listed on schedule number 10 in the amount of $5,013,220.41. Item number 2, adoption of ordinance number 84870 on second reading, an ordinance approving a jurisdictional boundary line agreement between the City of East Peoria in the Village of Morton. Item number 3, adoption of resolution number 2526-056 on its second reading. Resolution authorizing acceptance and execution of a service agreement for the supply of electricity for the city's residential energy aggregation program. Item number 4, adoption of resolution number 2526-051 on its second reading. Resolution requesting permission for temporary closure of state-maintained roadways for a public event for the Festival of Lights Parade on November 22nd, 2025. Item number 5, approval of resolution number 2526-054 on second reading. Resolution accepting and approving the proposal from Cohoy Well and Pump Service for well number 17 rehabilitation project. Item number 6, approval of resolution number 2526-055 on its second reading. Resolution accepting and approving the proposal from Huber Technology for wastewater treatment plant number 1 sludge press repair project. Item number 7, approval of ordinance number 4869 on second reading, and an ordinance amending various provisions of the latest city code, clarifying the administrative adjudication process and related penalties, as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that items numbered 1 through 7 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted, and items numbered 2 through 7, having been read once by their title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4872 here to attach an ordinance approving an option agreement for communications easement and for an easement and assignment agreement with GTP Acquisition Partners 2 LLC for the Lilac Lane Cell Tower site. It be accepted on its first reading as read by the title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
And what we have here, we have, as the title or description alluded to, we have a cell tower at the end of Lilac Lane. I believe it's adjacent to a water tower of ours. But we have determined that, the usefulness for us maintaining that property, and we've got an agreement with GTP Acquisition Partners, and such that we will give them acquire the permanent easement over the portion of the city-owned property where the tower is located. And so the agreement is a one-time payment of $1.5 million in exchange for the easement rights and assignment of the city's interest in this existing lease. So there's a couple conditions, terms of the agreement. The guarantee or the grantee will provide commercial general liability insurance, naming the city. It's common practice of us, even in cases of the farmers market. So, but reimbursement to the city for any increase in property taxes assessed. And if the grantee terminates the easement, then they will return the property according to the restoration plan, which is to return it to, I'll say, a natural state without the tower and take everything down. And then with that, again, we determined it's the best interest of the city to enter into this agreement and provide this permanent easement and in receipt of $1.5 million.
Very good. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Okay, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 2526-059, resolution approving annual renewal of service subscription and licensing agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc. for the city's enterprise resource planning software system be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2526-059 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
This one's a must-have. Most people may or may not know that we we migrated to a more modern and up-to-date ERP system, and with that comes the annual licensing agreement. And so in front of us today, we have at a cost of $311,497.72 is the annual subscription rate. So
Yeah, this is the first one-year extension of the original agreement.
that would be correct.
And we're still going through that process. So utility billing, I think, is up next. Should be live Monday, I believe. So, yeah, they're presently here on site, physically on site, to help us go live with that next piece.
Yeah.
So, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Your Honor, that concludes it for me tonight.
Wow, that's record time, Commissioner Hill. All
I'm
right.
thinking about Commissioner Sutherland when I get this agenda put together.
Commissioner Decker.
I have two items, Mayor. First of all, resolution number 2526-058, be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, the resolution number 2526-058, resolution authorizing and approving the purchase of a 2026 Mack Granite tandem dump truck with installed equipment from Vanguard Truck Centers from the Public Works Department, or for the Public Works Department, be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2526-058 be accepted on its first reading, as read by its title, be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Mingus?
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. As I wish I would have checked this for sure. I believe we have 10 right now. It's right around there. And obviously, we do our best to change them out when we can. This one will be replacing one of the oldest trucks that we have in our fleet. You don't think much about, or I don't think as much about it until we come up to a bad storm in the winter. And it's one thing to have the vehicles, but with some of our vehicles being older, we have to make sure that they are all running in an event like that so we can have them all out on the street if possible. So this will be replacing one of our oldest units. The chassis is $154,798. With the Koenig body is $121,001. The total price for the Mack truck is $281,047. The selling price is, Mayor, you want to?
No.
I should have.
Yeah.
150.
The selling price is $115,000.
That's right.
500,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm a little confused when I just read that part of it. But the recommendation is to approve the $281,047 for the purchase.
Yeah, so I will say, we've had in our capital budget for the last 2 years the purchase of a new truck, and we have not pulled the trigger because during the supply chain thing, some of these were 2 years. You could either wait on the chassis or wait on the body. Anyway, Brett Tucker found this truck that's available, and we decided to jump on it because now we're basically almost 3 years behind keeping up in the cycle. So this is for a truck that's readily available. And then we have another one budgeted that we probably should get on order because that one's going to be a wait. It's going to be a year or two out before we get another
Right.
one.
If I remember correctly, there was a year that we budgeted them and didn't actually pull the
last
trigger
2
and
years.
purchase. Yeah, that's
Just because of the
that's been
delay,
problem.
but
Right.
he happened upon this one, which is available. So I don't know if somebody else backed out. Not sure, but it fell in our favor, and we had this budgeted for this year. So.
I met with Brett on Friday, and he was really excited about this, talking about, just how good of a job we've been doing. Our mechanics have done a great job keeping our trucks at a running level, and then now replacing as quickly as we can.
So anyone that's been paying attention the last few weeks have seen our trucks running nonstop out of here.
Yeah.
We've removed the dirt pile behind Costco finally. And I forget, what'd Cord say, Morgan, like 3,100 tandems we hauled out of there? Something like that.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
But,
enormous.
different places that we used it to fill in. That was part of our plan all along, and that dates back probably close to 10 years, if I had to guess, 9 or 10 years ago when that started. But anyway, we're clearing all that out.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is this truck here it's a Mack? We normally don't buy Macks, right? Don't we normally buy another brand, international or something like that?
Well,
I think we've had
international,
a- yeah.
we have a cat, I know that.
Yeah.
I believe you're correct. I'd have to make sure, but you're right.
Mack's a
International
good
sounds the
truck.
most common to
I
me.
just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pat, do you know by chance? Okay.
No. This was brought to our attention that this one's available, so
Yeah.
we're gonna
Okay.
swallow that.
And my belief is our mechanics are excited about it as well, so they're not worried about the difference from our current vehicles.
What is the selling price in this description? Because everything adds up to 281, but then there's the selling price.
I don't know what that selling price is.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even
that's
sure
what
what that
confused
is.
me as well. Like all of a sudden at the end, I thought, wait a second, I was reading it as I was speaking, and might have to look over that, make sure that that's written correctly.
Yeah, well, he's got it broken down, so you have the body with the chassis, it's all in one, it's already put together.
And then you add
So it
the
looks
two
like he
warranties.
just separated out what the cost is, so. But yeah, we're not selling anything
Right.
to buy it.
Right.
No, we're gonna use what we have.
Should be getting filled with junk this week.
Yep, it's cleanup
Yep,
week.
that's right.
There's a lot of it going on, so. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Mingus.
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Next, Mayor, Resolution Number 2526-060 be resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois. The Resolution Number 2526-060, resolution allocating $1,500,000 of motor fuel tax funds for the 2026 street maintenance program and confirming and approving an engineering agreement and associated rate of compensation for engineering services related to the 2026 street maintenance program be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution, number 2526-060, will be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Commissioner Mingus, thank you. As we try to do every year, and we've done a good job in, I don't know, the last 4 to 8 years of getting this out as early as we can. We recognize better prices from the contractors around. You know, when they don't have an enormous amount of business in front of them, they want to make sure to guarantee that business for the next year. So those that go out earlier can get the best prices. Pat's here in the audience. He can answer any questions that you might have. But what I really appreciate about our contractors over the years, and they, to my knowledge, all of them have been gracious in that throughout the year, if we're able to add money to that, they'll often recognize the price that they gave us. So they don't raise the prices as they become busier, though hopefully we'll have more money next year to put even more money into our streets program. But usually they will honor the rates that we agree to.
Yeah, this portion here tonight is just simply the motor fuel tax funds. That doesn't mean
That's correct.
it limits the amount that we're going to spend on street maintenance next year. But I'll tell you, in the 10 years that I've sat on the East Peoria City Council, only 1 year I can remember where we missed the boat. We were lollygagging or something and got out late, and man, did we pay the price
Oh, we
for
did.
it. So
We did.
that's why we do it this time of year. It's a prudent thing to do, and we always get the best bang for our buck. So anyway, any discussion?
Well, I'd just like to mention, I know I mentioned it to Commissioner Decker, I believe, the heat scarification process. I have a motorcycle, so they had roads being heat scarified near me this year. One that I traveled on, and when you're going through that process, you really can't ride your motorcycle on that. But the top coat, which years ago when they'd done actually the road that I live on, the final coat to me is king. We hopefully we do that as a norm. I don't know if it's the norm now.
Is it called GXB, Pat? Is that right?
Generally, it's just called fog coat.
Fog coat, okay.
Fog coat, well, that I can tell you after that went down, that definitely solidified the materials on the street and definitely made it better for motorcycle riders for one, but I'm pretty sure it would make it better for everybody from the rock pickup and everything. So I definitely want to encourage that to continue.
You know, I appreciate you saying, sorry, Mayor, if you don't mind, just a second. I should have said this from the beginning. Pat starts a process here of identifying all the streets, rating all the streets. And I've told the story many times, but probably 10 years ago or so, I know there, a town around here did a big news article about how they were, rating their streets. And it was funny, I was sitting back thinking, man, we've done that every year. That, not me, but Pat and Public Works crews go out and rate every street. This is important because it takes politics out of it. Nobody has their street resurfaced because of who they are, what they do, who they know. It's based on the available dollars, the rating that your road has. Now, I'm not going to say it always follows it exactly, because if we're doing a lot of roads in an area, it may make fiscal sense to go ahead and pick up a street that maybe doesn't fall as low as some others. But I'm really thankful for that. Pat's been doing that process, in East Peoria, 25 years? 30? Okay, 31 years. And it not only, they look at them now, and I know there are times where they've looked at them also in the spring, correct? And maybe both. But, so we don't know yet which streets we'll be able to touch, but try to do as many as we can.
Very good. Any other discussion?
Yeah, all I can say is the same thing year after year with me, and that is the Water and Sewer Department needs to know which streets are going to be done in a more permanent fashion where I can do my infrastructure if I have any money left after Springfield Road.
Very good. Point well taken. All right. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you. Motion carried.
That is all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Commissioner Sutherland.
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, that's not true. I see a book down there, so you're saving that for later.
Later.
All right. Commissioner Mingus.
One item tonight, Your Honor, ordinance number 4871. Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4871 here to attach an ordinance amending provisions of the East Peoria City Code that prohibit the possession, sale, and delivery of cannabis, synthetic drugs, and related substances, to also prohibit the sale, possession, and use of kratom, if I pronounce that correctly,
Kratom is how
Kratom.
Yeah.
Be read at length by the clerk, and that said ordinance number 4871 be accepted on its first reading and hereby adopted as presented.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Madam Clerk?
Whereas as provided in Section 10-1-4.8 of the East Peoria City Code, City of East Peoria prohibits and regulates the possession, sale, and delivery of controlled substances, cannabis, and other products containing THC and unregulated substances containing synthetic hallucinogens and synthetic stimulants except as otherwise permitted under Illinois law. Whereas the city has the authority under the Illinois Municipal Code to define and prevent public nuisances, 65 ILCS 5/11-60-2, and to promote health, 65 ILCS 5/11-20-5. Whereas city officials have become aware of certain health-related incidences involving the substance known as kratom, which has known psychoactive and intoxicating effects and is currently prohibited in Illinois to sell to minors or to be possessed by minors under the Kratom Control Act, 720 ILCS 624/1 et sec. And whereas kratom has been documented to cause effects such as mental and neurological symptoms, heart and lung problems, gastrointestinal issues, liver problems, hallucinations, agitation, psychosis, aggression, suicidal ideations, and death. And whereas the City Council hereby finds that kratom is a public nuisance and a threat to the safety, health, and well-being of its citizens and all members of the general public. And whereas the City Council seeks to ban the sale of kratom and other psychoactive, psychotropic, and related synthetic drugs from the corporate limits of the city, whereas the City Council accordingly desires to amend Section 10-1-4.8 of the East Peoria City Code to include the prohibition of kratom, and whereas the City Council finds that adoption of the proposed amendments to the Sections 10-1-4.8 of the East Peoria City Code will promote the health, safety, and welfare of the city, its citizens, and the general public, and that said amendments are in the best interest of the City of East Peoria and its citizens. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 4.8A is hereby amended to add the definition of kratom as follows. Additions are indicated by underline, deletions by strikeout. Section 10-1-4.8A, definitions. Kratom means any part of the plant Mitragna speciosa, whether growing or not, in any compound, manufacture, salt, derivative, resin, mixture, or preparation of that plant, including but not limited to mitragynine. Do you know how to pronounce
Give
that,
it a
Scott?
shot, Morgan.
Mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine 7-OH, whether naturally occurring or synthetically produced, and whether produced directly or indirectly by extraction or independently by means of chemical synthesis or by combination of extraction and chemical synthesis. Section 10 Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 4.8B is hereby amended to read as follows. Additions are indicated by underline, deletions by strikeout. Section 10-1-4.8B, unlawful to possess, sell, or deliver. It is unlawful for a person to possess, keep for sale, or offer for sale, sell, or deliver for any commercial consideration cannabis, kratom, or controlled substance, lookalike substance, synthetic alternative drug, or commercial consideration, any item of drug paraphernalia except as authorized by the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Program Act 410 ILCS 130/1 et sec, the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act 410 ILCS 705/1 et sec, or the Cannabis Control Act 720 ILCS 550/1 et sec. Section 3, Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 4.8C is hereby amended to read as follows. Additions are indicated by underline, deletions by strikeout. Section 10-1-4.8C, sale or delivery by store declared a nuisance, is unlawful and is declared to be a nuisance for any store, place, or premises to keep for sale, offer for sale, sell, or deliver for any cannabis, kratom, lookalike substance, synthetic alternative drug, or commercial consideration, any item of drug paraphernalia except as authorized by the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Program Act 410 ILCS 130/1 et sec, the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act 410 ILCS 705/1/1 et sec, or the Cannabis Control Act 720 ILCS 550/1 et sec. Section 4, Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 4.8H is hereby amended to add new subpart 5 as follows. Additions are indicated by underline, deletions by strikeout. Section 10-1-4.8H, penalty. 5, kratom. Any person found to be in violation of any provision of this section shall be subject to a fine not less than $350 and not more than $750. Section 5, this ordinance is hereby ordered to be published in pamphlet form by the East Peoria City Clerk, and said clerk is ordered to keep at least 3 copies hereof available for public inspection in the future in accordance with the Illinois Municipal Code. Section 6, this ordinance is, in addition to all other ordinances on the subject, shall be construed therewith, excepting as to that part in direct conflict with any other ordinance. And in the event of such conflict, provisions hereof shall govern. Section 7, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and 10-day period of publication in the manner provided by law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You could go back. What was it made out of?
Yeah,
No, I read the memo on this. It appears, and Scott's here, he can probably answer any questions, that we're adding kratom is an unregulated narcotic. It's not something that the state necessarily regulates, so we're going to regulate it in the city of East Peoria, making it illegal, correct me if I'm wrong, to possess, sell, or sell,
And
or
use.
deliver.
And use.
And use, so.
Yeah, currently, I believe, Scott, it's regulated for those under 18, is that correct?
Yes, Mayor, that's correct.
And so I stumbled across, this is about maybe 2.5 weeks ago, Scott, I stumbled across an article where I saw some communities in Illinois had taken it upon themselves, since the state has failed to do so, with some of these drugs that continue to pop up that are unregulated, and they're addictive and harmful. And I stumbled across this article of Monticello actually being the most recent one to do this, and I read up on what their attorney had shared during the course of the public meeting. I thought, man, I didn't know we could do that. So I sent it to Scott and asked that this be brought forward, because I know for a fact that this is being sold here in East Peoria, and it's highly addictive. And why It's not regulated at a level above us is beyond my wildest imagination. But I feel strongly, as community leaders, we do have an obligation to protect our citizens. And, you know, the answer isn't, you know, giving clean needles and a safe space to use drugs. I mean, how's that working out for us as a society? It's not. So I think, you know, what we can do by doing our part is what we're doing here this evening, by making this part of our city code to say that you can't sell, possess, or use kratom. And I'll say 7-OH, Morgan, because I looked at that word. I think it's hydroxymitragynine or something like that. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly either, but it's called, we just coined it, 7-OH is what it's known as. But I share this because this is interesting. I sent this to Scott about 2.5 weeks ago, and my wife and I were down in St. Charles, Missouri a little over a week ago for this comedy show. Never been to one in my life. And this comedian's a well-known national comedian, absolutely hilarious, great guy. But part of his skit was telling a story about how he and his sidekick, the guy that opened for him, had to travel from Florida to Oklahoma, and they missed their flight or something. They took off on the road, so they stopped in a 7-Eleven. And he talks about how he picked up some of this kratom, and it was advertised as keeping you alert and giving you the energy. And he said, wow, that stuff was so great, I started buying it while I was on the road on a regular basis. And he said before long, his comedy skit wasn't about that, but it was leading up to his jokes about his time in rehab, which then turned to a serious conversation after the show because we had the ability to meet him. And I got sharing what we're going to do here this evening, and he said, I'm so grateful to hear that communities are banning that. He said, had I known then what I know today, that I would have ended up in rehab over something as simple as trying to keep myself awake for a long car ride and then becoming addicted to this substance. And it was kind of an eye-opener because you look at all these different things that are out there that are unregulated that are not good. And they're very addictive, and I don't know. The timing of everything just came together. But I strongly encourage you guys to support this tonight. I think it's the right thing for our community. And I will tell you, I know both chiefs had obligations tonight. Scott Morgan can attest to this. They were more than elated when we brought this forward. And they helped Scott write this. They reviewed everything and added their own, kind of their own take on it. So, but other than that, any other discussion?
I've got two probably legal procedural questions. From here, if it passes tonight, what will be the notification of businesses that we know or suspect to know that are selling this currently in the city? That's one. And then the penalty here, 350 to 750. I've seen it at a much smaller scale. And the code enforcement, and that's where you've got a reoccurring violator. What will be the recourse or course of action if somebody chooses, because maybe they can make their fine money over and above what our fines are? Because 350 to 750, again, I don't know what the margins are on that stuff or what the volumes are, but based on.
I'll defer to Scott. They're great questions.
Well, Commissioner, to answer the first question about notice, the police chief indicated that he would be sending out notices to all the businesses that he was aware of that sold this kratom and all the kratom products that are out there. So that's how the notice is going to go out to the potential sellers, retailers of this substance and the similar items. As far as the fine, that fine is just structured like all the other fines in this provision of the city code. So the repeat offenders, these types of fines, as my understanding, the police department may run the first one through our administrative process, but after that it would probably, if it was a repeat offender, would then go through court, which we would seek a higher penalty than the typical lower amount. But the amounts that are noted in this ordinance just track what we already have for the other substances that are covered by this ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have zero tolerance with it.
I'll tell you, I'm thrilled to see this on here. You know, just a couple glances at it talks about hypertension, potential liver disease, and we have a lot of things inside society, right, that can cause problems, and we accept that. But I think regulation is the key. My fear is if you allow this with no oversight, no regulation whatsoever, then there's no guidance on how it can be maintained, created, distributed. And I just don't like get into stories up here, but years ago I was at an event when bath salts were a thing, and we took 6 kids from that event because it was still legal, and they were using it to have the synthetic high of marijuana, the feeling of marijuana. And they had no idea the damage that it could be doing to their bodies. And I think that this is something that in years coming we'll see, like bath salts, obviously, that was ultimately taken off completely. And I think I'm happy to be ahead of the curve on this to try to get rid of it as soon as possible.
Well, when you look at some of these things it leads to, it's not just the organ damage, it's psychosis, it's hallucinations, addiction. I mean, you just name it, it just steamrolls.
Ruins their lives.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Motion carried.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Public comment. Anyone wish to address the council on a non-agenda item? Please step forward. Yes, sir.
Really ironic, this man is here.
Okay.
If he's the reason, I think he's the person I need to talk to.
Okay.
Since I'm up, seems like I'm up against a brick wall on my first request. My second request had to do with my street, Ember Lane, that I feel is a forgotten street. I walk every morning. I walk 3 to 4 miles every morning. And I've noticed in the Robine area.
Paul, do you mind getting in front of the microphone so they,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just so they can hear you clearly. Thank you. Thank you.
I feel that in the Robine area, this past summer, just about every street there was recoded. Some of them twice, some of them 3 times. Mine was done last year. But what I've noticed is every other street in my area has curbs and has drainage. Ember Lane does not. Could we put that on the agenda for maybe getting money to do that next year?
That's a big task. I tell you what, if you look up Cottage, up off Eckley, that's the street I grew up on in East Peoria.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't have curb and gutters, never had.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get it. It's not just your street, it's a lot of area, but
Well, it's
Yeah.
just my thing because of what the tax people told me, that I live in a better area, that's why my tax rate is so high. I'm okay. If I gotta pay that, fine. But let's make it look like it's a better area when I live down on Meadows.
sure. Sure.
I know it looks better now because Meadows seems like it's kind of went south, but
Well, Patrick's a nice enough guy, so I bet if you hit him up after here, he can explain to you. Because what Commissioner Decker, I hope you and everybody else that may be watching understands this. Elected people do not get involved in the street ratings. Literally is what we approve is the dollar amount that's spent for the street maintenance on an annual basis. But by design, we stay out of that process, so it's fair and equitable, objective, and we allow the professionals to come back and tell us what.
okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
I'm sure Patrick would be happy to talk to you.
All right.
All right, thank you, Paul. Anyone else wish to address the council on a non-agenda item? Seeing no one. Comments from the council, Commissioner Decker.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I was at a store a couple nights ago, and a gentleman that I've known from high school, he asked me about the recycling event that was this weekend on Saturday. And I was out of town on Saturday. I knew that it was going on, but what I didn't know is he said, Dan, we were in line and all of a sudden it was shut down. And So I immediately sent Brett a message that's scheduled to get to him today, and he called me and we talked about it. But what happened was, just to let everybody know in case others encountered the same issue, it became a public hazard, a roadway issue that they had. The police department, along with speaking with our supervisor, decided that they would close it, allow the traffic to clear, and then they reopened it. I can't tell you for sure how long it was closed, but I can tell you a couple things. Brett said that over 60,000 pounds of recycling material was collected. It's the largest ever. Very successful with over 800 visitors. It was approximately 9:30 when it was shut down. Again, I can't tell you for sure how long it was shut down, but it was very successful. And we're looking to do it as often as possible. It's put on by Tazewell County, so it's not something the city paid for, but it was a great event. It was a free event. People could take their items and just drop it off. All they had to do was be a resident of Tazewell County. I also wanted to mention that this is cleanup week. Started yesterday. It's always the first full week of October. So a couple things I want to mention with it, and I say this all the time and haven't heard about it in years, and sure enough, my wife was reading to me, I think on Saturday evening, an incident where someone, the comment they put was, whoever took the green bike that was close to the road, it was not part of cleanup week, would you please return it? And I felt terrible because I've heard of that happening so many times over the years. I don't see the volume of quote-unquote junkers coming through like used to, but there are still many people that travel through. If you have anything close to the street, be careful now, because people are coming through thinking that it is there for junk week. I ask the junkers to be careful that you're not taking something that belongs to somebody, and what could be miscommunication or an accident could become an altercation if you're not careful. I also, just go over the rules again, we are running a little bit behind, but the Public Works is trying to keep up, but...
It's typical. People need to expect that.
Yeah.
And really, the only ones on time are going to be the first day.
That's right. Usually it takes a week and a half to 2 weeks to get it
Yeah.
done, and just everybody be calm, cautious, don't worry, we'll get to you.
Yeah.
But 4x8 sheet of plywood, 4 feet tall, are the parameters that you can expect that they will pick up. And just like the street thing, I don't get involved in overruling or anything like that. Our foremen who make the decisions, I let them go by those guidelines. They make the decision of whether the pile was too large, and we stick with that decision. That way, take politics out of it. I can't make a decision because of somebody I know or something like that. That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hill.
Well, ironically, one of the things I wanted to talk about was that recycling event. Commissioner Decker wasn't here, but a little bit before 9, I received a call. It's actually from my cousin. It says, "You guys got something going on in East Peoria today?" I go, "Yeah, the recycling event." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm here bringing 2 TVs, and I'm sitting down by the high school in a line that goes, as everybody knows, up to the festival building." And again, you start seeing the people, and I had a different perspective because, he actually kept texting me. So the queue, the street that goes adjacent to AutoZone, was the queue into the winding path in the parking lot that went in the festival building. And as a commissioner had mentioned, as a safety issue, they did not allow the cars. And so when that queue filled up, they waved them through. My cousin actually drove back and forth, he said, about 5 times before he was able to get in. So it was a safety issue to keep the traffic. I drove by there, again, a little after that was open. They may have been waving them through all the way to 1 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Because they did extend, and they posted it on Facebook. So that was a couple things that, when I look at it, and maybe I shouldn't read Facebook because it sometimes just aggravates me that people referring to their tax dollars being wasted. And as Commissioner already said, that was at Tazewell County, the graciousness and more than likely the grant funding of Tazewell County, or Health Department. And as people noticed and asked in years past, it would cost for certain TVs. Everything was free. There wasn't a cost associated or published on anything. But that's the thing that that misinformation, and it goes fast. Hey, they're closed. And I had a conversation with my son-in-law who said the same thing. I said, I just drove by there. There were cars pulling in there. So don't believe everything that ever gets posted onto Facebook, because it did flow. It was scheduled to go to noon, and I believe, based on the indications, it went to 1 o'clock. So we all think it's a good thing. Can the improvements be made? I think the feedback with I don't know what coordination they actually had with the city of East Peoria, but everybody appeared to show up at 9 o'clock. You know, I want to beat the rush, and I'm telling you, everybody looked like from Tazewell County was lining up from both directions. So, good thing, but not that we can't improve on maybe the traffic flow, but again, we may let one of our facilities be used, and it was a good thing.
Brett and I were talking about that already. No great answers, but we're going to spend the time to try to figure out how we could make it better. Try to figure out how do we make the traffic flow better.
Well, I'll one-up you. My first phone call was from our mighty fine Commissioner Sutherland.
It
Give
wasn't
me
a
a heads
phone
up.
call, it was a
Houston,
text.
it was a heads up. Houston, we got a problem. And he wasn't lying. My phone was lighting up. With that, Commissioner Sutherland, go to you, sir.
Okay. I'm going to get my 2 bits in on the Tazewell County thing down at the Felipe thing. When I tried to get rid of a computer screen a couple years ago, there was a company in East Peoria, and it was $1 an inch. That's how they charge you. And I paid the $24 or whatever it was, and I was happy to do it. But the thing is that when it's county, everybody's invited. So we got people from Washington, we got people from Pekin, we got people from Morton, we got people from all of Tazewell County coming to East Peoria to do this. So I don't know whether we should take this thing up to East Side and do a wraparound like Disneyland does, and I'm really not for sure what the answer is, but it was very successful. I know it pissed a few people off by the way it ended up being, but, you know, a lack of, you know.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but we were almost brainstorming today, thought maybe ICC or someplace with a large lot, and maybe they wouldn't want that or wouldn't fit, but we'll look at many different options for next time.
Yeah,
but it's
good
nice
idea.
for it to be in East Peoria, so we're going to try to keep it here.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, with the drought, watering lawns is okay, for sure, but it could get expensive without a supplementary water meter for pools, gardens, lawns, etc. Any water that does not go down your sewer through the supplementary water, it will cost you a few $100s to get rid of it. And it's better to spend a few $100s on the supplementary water meter than have a $2,000 plus bill because you tried to keep your lawns and bushes going. My second part about this drought is most people think that if you water your trees, you're saving your trees. And in my opinion, which I think can be backed up, when you water your trees from up above and the drought lasts for a while, like this one is doing, your roots turn up to go look for the water. And they start growing up and they get really close to the surface really quick. And that leaves the bottom roots die because there is no water down below. So in 2 or 3 years after this drought, you'll see your favorite trees, which you tried to keep alive, in stress or dying. So if you want to help your trees out, use a feeder, a tree feeder, a root feeder. They go down about 3 or 4 feet. You turn them on for 2 or 3 minutes. You move it around the tree, every 5 or 6 feet around the tree, and you push the water down. The roots will go down. You don't even have to do it every day because you don't lose a lot of the water through aeration and evaporation. And you can do that, like once every 3 or 4 days and do way better for your trees. Okay, I had a big schmeal here, which I got what was going on over in Peoria and with the hoodlums running around over there and then fighting and shooting each other up and the cops having to, I'm proud of the Peoria cops for finally sticking up by the law from what I can tell from this side of the river. But East Peoria, for the most part, along with the surrounding communities on the south side of the Illinois River, are very safe. I've been doing a lot of walking because of health issues. And I thought to myself while I was walking, I could walk anywhere in East Peoria and feel safe. I could walk anywhere in Washington and feel safe. I could walk anywhere in Morton and feel safe. I do not feel safe, especially if I had my significant other with me, to walk in Peoria, for the most part, anywhere. So I'm very proud of our police department. I'm very proud of our state's attorney. And I say fill up the jails. And if you do wrong, then you should be caught. Okay? I'm done.
Okay, wow, that wasn't as long as I thought. Caught me off guard there.
Well said, Commissioner.
Yeah, Commissioner.
Just my typical first meeting of the month, we have car seat checks at Central House from 1 to 4. If you want to get your car seat checked or installed, and we do shut those down. The fire department shuts those down for the cold months, so if you want to get it done, I would definitely look at doing so pretty quickly.
Very good, thank you, Commissioner. Just a quick 2 cents on the recycle event. I'm glad to hear we're looking at alternate sites if we do the all-in thing. This was by far, caught the health department off guard, no different than anybody else. They weren't expecting this big of a turnout. But I will tell you, one of the ideas or suggestions I would make to them is limit the number. Is what people were reporting is people were showing up with trailer fulls of electronics and truck bed fulls of electronics.
Oh, that's
well,
terrible.
that backs everybody else up. For example, you said they were looking to drop off too. My wife and I, we've been through that. We didn't this year. We weren't even in town Saturday, but we've taken advantage of that. It's an outstanding program. We're happy to, host it. But I think you can make some improvements. But it was an unexpected large turnout that needed to be controlled. So I don't think it was shut down for too long. And then last but not least, I just want to give a shout out, honor his memory, but Sean Newell, for those that don't know him, I'm sure you've seen the news here lately. He was the general manager and vice president of WMBD and WYZZ TV in Peoria. Lost his battle to cancer at the age of 47, had a wife and two young children. I've had the privilege of getting to know Sean just as an elected person through reporting and dealing with different things, but most recently he's been very involved in the festival preparation and the recordings we do, advertisement and whatnot through WMBD. But I just want to say, my heart breaks for the family. That guy fought like hell. I know a lot of people say, I've lost my parents, my mom to cancer, and all of us have probably been affected and lost loved ones, and it's easy to say they won their battle. No, listen, at such a young age with so much left in life here on earth that you want to see out and make memories with your family, that's a hard pill to swallow for anyone. But I know that guy never gave up until the very end. And he was one of the most genuine, humble people. And I say that because I'm not so kind to some of the media at times because I feel like they're biased in their opinion. This guy, for as long as I've had to deal with him, was nothing but more than fair and objective, reporting the facts as they are. And I always appreciated that about him, and I had a lot of respect for this guy, but mainly when I realized that he was battling cancer and how hard he fought to try to beat it. So my heart, my prayers are with his wife, his kids, his family, and more importantly, all the coworkers, because even though he was a boss, you wouldn't know it. He was a guy that treated everybody just the same and viewed himself as much. So he'll be sorely missed. So, Sean Newell, a little tribute to you, sir. All right, that's a wrap. I'd seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, October 21st, 2025, at 6 p.m.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are adjourned until we meet again.